everyone tuned in. This is the Men, Church, Stuff podcast. It's the show where brothers-in-law DJ Culp and Brad Coleman talk about what it's like being Christian men in today's society. Having spent our entire lives immersed in church culture, we want to share our experiences with other men who are willing to listen. We'll talk life stuff, church stuff, man stuff, and, well, stuff. Let's get to it. Welcome, listeners here and there and everywhere, all across the land. This is the Men Church Stuff podcast. I am one of your hosts, DJ Culp, as always, here with my beloved brother-in-law, Brad Coleman. Brad, happy Tuesday. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. It's supposed to snow, I think, maybe.
Oh, dude, don't say that. Like, I want it so badly to snow here. We've gotten rain. Like, and when I say we've gotten rain in the last, I'd say 16, 18 hours, about 90% of that has been constant rain. So I'm glad that you guys are getting snow, but come on, dude.
Well, not yet. Well, actually, it is flurrying as I look out the window right now.
I want that so bad.
Not big flurries, but definitely some flurries there.
Listeners,
I got four out of the five people. Wait. Yeah, that's right. I have three kids. I had to do math real quick. I have four out of the five people in my house that are praying, Jesus, please let it snow so we don't have to go to school tomorrow.
Oh, no, that's a reality for sure. But listeners, if you're new to the show, I love the snow. I'm talking about like deeply love the snow. And living in the state of Tennessee, we don't get it hardly at all. But welcome back, listeners. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope that you enjoyed last week's ep. But as promised, this week's episode, Brad, you and I are gonna talk about New Year's resolutions, and our topic today is just try harder.
Yeah.
Now, before Brad and I, openly get on our soapboxes about this, I want you all to know something really cool about this episode. So I've got a book that I keep all my like ideas for the eps in, and I date them. And on September 7th, leading up to the show that we were supposed to record, I told Brad that our topic was going to be just try harder. Brad, do you remember that?
I remember briefly the conversation. Yeah, I don't remember everything entailed.
And I remember that you had told me that at that particular time you weren't really in the headspace to do that topic. And
yeah, sounds about right.
What I know about Satan is that he actually will do anything and everything in his power to if not delay, or sorry, if not eradicate, but delay anything that could be used to further the kingdom of God in whatever, however that looks in whatever capacity.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is that it hasn't really been until now that Brad and I have come back around full circle to get to this particular topic. And both Brad and I, we're in the right headspace to be able to talk about it, because sometimes seriously, listeners, sometimes these topics can be kind of difficult for us to talk about because we may very well be going through stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we certainly hope, listeners, that there are episodes that God uses as ways to meet you where you're at. So don't think that he doesn't ever do that with us, because that's not true. So wrapping back around to just try harder from September 7th, we now get to actually, and it pairs well. We get to talk about our, I don't want to speak for you, Brad, but my used to be extreme hatred of New Year's resolutions to my now general dislike of New Year's resolutions.
So they're growing on you.
They're growing on me ever so slightly. But
So in your 60s, you'd be like, New Year's resolutions are the best thing ever.
yeah, right.
Everybody needs them.
and and when I'm in my 60s, my New Year's resolution is I don't want to lose my last four teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so Brad, let's get cranking with this. New Year's resolutions, what do you do? First of all, do you like them? And if not, why? If you do like them, why? Go.
So I'm not really necessarily against them. I don't have any necessarily this year that I've written down. I have in the past.
Hmm.
Um, I think my problem with New Year's resolutions is most of them die. I mean, so we're recording on the 9th. This is going to go out next Monday. This is not an attack, people, but how many of you made a New Year's resolution and it's already dead?
And it's already gone. Yeah.
Like the good news for you is like is you're in the good company.
You're in great
I
company.
think
Yes, you are.
most New Year's resolutions, die out before January ends, and the ones that don't, a lot of them don't work through February. So I think for me, we've got to distinguish between the difference between a New Year's resolution and working toward a goal, because I
Yeah.
think goals are good. I think bettering yourself, those things are good. So we need to resolve to do things. Um, so on that, it's like, why do New Year's resolutions then? Why do they die?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
maybe
and actually, Brad, that's why I hate them. And I came to, or sorry, that's why I now generally dislike them. Why I used to hate them. Yeah, and the main reason that I really hated them is because they're not set up to really promote long-term effects.
Mhm.
They're only there to you know I think I like the idea that they're there to make us refocus about something in our life or something. Obviously the lowest hanging fruit is
Mhm.
health and diet and eating and losing weight and all that kind of stuff. But I think New Year's resolutions does a great job at helping us refocus as long as we're willing to look at it.
Mhm.
Help us refocus on what we need to do to improve our situation. But what I don't think that they do very well at all is set us up for future success. As you mentioned,
Mhm.
by the end of January, I've actually heard it said multiple times in the last, I don't know, however many years, that the average New Year's resolution doesn't even make it past 2 weeks. Um, and so with New Year's resolutions, I'll tell you mine. And really, this is the only one that I have. And first and foremost, listeners, and Brad, I don't know if you know this about me or not, but I don't do very well like with my hands spread thin. Hands in a lot of stuff, lots of irons in the fire. I do really well if I'm able to be hyper focused on a small amount of tasks. And so for
Mhm.
me, the smaller the or excuse me, the smaller the amount of tasks, the much more dedication and quality I can get out of it. So having said that,
Mhm.
right now my only New Year's resolution is actually, Brad, the podcast that we dropped yesterday or last week, right? The podcast on rest. That's my New Year's resolution is to learn how to rest in God, not 20 minutes a day, but like 1 or 2 minutes a
Mhm.
day. So much so, I'm gonna do a shameless plug here. I actually got the 1 minute pause journal.
The 1 minute
Um,
pause journal.
1 minute pause journal by John Eldridge, and what I want to do with it is take 1, 2, 3 minutes per day and just clear my head. But with New Year's resolutions, again, I don't think the system works. And here's why I say that. And again, I'm kind of I'm just gonna say this in the from the perspective of getting like a gym membership. The system of New Year's resolutions doesn't actually really care if you succeed in your resolution. It's commercialism that just simply wants you to keep spending money. That's the way I see it. Now I know, like that's probably a pretty bleak look on on bettering yourself. But Ecclesiastes 5:3 is a Bible verse that got me through grad school. And Ecclesiastes 5:3 says this: "For dreams result from much work, and a fool's voice from many words." Um, Ironically, this is a podcast, so
Yeah.
we use nothing but words. So maybe you and I are both fools, and we just need
Yeah.
to stop. But
I've been called worse.
but to me, the idea with just that Bible verse alone
Yeah.
is that the longevity, as you said, like setting a goal, the
Yeah.
longevity of the task at hand is what will ultimately matter. I'm gonna say this, matter more, while at the same time I do definitely need to give credence to, you got to get up off the couch and do it.
Yeah.
So I think New Year's resolutions does a decent job at that.
Yeah. So with a beginning,
Yeah.
like a start, right? So here's why I think they don't. And going off our topic, right? Just try harder.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's a lot of people's answer for a lot of things in life. And there are times when that's true. If you're not putting forth effort, then you need to put forth effort.
Yeah.
So, but let's assume that you are trying.
Yeah.
And you're really giving it your go. You really have resolved to do this. Like you've decided I'm going to give up smoking, or I'm going to read my Bible in a year, or I'm going to do this. Um, which are great, great goals. And maybe you're dead serious about it. You're Peter. Jesus, I would die for you, die with you,
Yep.
and you mean it, and you're ready to swing a sword and prove it. See, I'm not going to deny you.
Yeah. Right.
So the just try harder, I think, is there's only a minority of people that really need to hear that. And really, probably it's just try, not just
Yeah.
try harder, just try.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the reason that these New Year's resolutions fail. I think instead of saying just try harder, we need to encourage people to just try smarter. Because I think there's a lot of resolutions that are, well, like I said, dream. It's a dream. It's an idea. It's like, you know what? I shouldn't be smoking, so I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
That's a
I
good
need to
thing to
lose
do.
weight.
Right. I need to lose
Yes,
weight.
you do, sir.
I need to be more
like,
of this or less of that.
yeah.
But all those things are they're, well, I mean, you've heard SMART goals. The SMART goals, and one of the things, I know the M stands for measurable. Simple, I
Mhm.
think measurable. I don't even remember all the acronym. You can look it up. SMART goals, good thing to Google.
Yeah.
Go Google that, or Bing it. They tried to get that off the ground, by the way. Bing it. They had it in like the TV shows and everything. I think Friends was like, yeah, just Bing it. I'm like,
Bing. Yep.
no, you can't. It doesn't work that way. But you can use the search engine Bing if you would like to. But look up SMART goals. But they're measurable. They're simple. They're taking steps toward. They're achievable. I think that's maybe a
All right, here we
reason.
go.
Right, there you
SMART
go.
goals: specific,
There you go.
measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound.
Yeah.
Because time bound has a hyphen in it. It is no longer smart, it's just smart.
Yeah. That's too
um,
bad. Yeah.
so no,
So
I'm
those.
with you. I'm with you on that. That it does need to be, simple or specific, and it does need to be measurable. But I think I'm more with you on. So the word in the acronym SMART is for A is achievable. I
Mhm.
had a professor in my undergrad who didn't use the word achievable, but rather attainable. I mean, it's
Mhm.
both mean the same thing in this
Right.
particular context. And I think that that's one of the most important things that you're exactly right about
Mhm.
is I need to lose weight. Okay, but how much?
Right.
Well, I want to lose 100 pounds, dude. Do it. Well,
Yeah.
I want to lose 100 pounds by March.
No.
Sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
No.
and even just with leaving it with 100 pounds, I like over the next year, I want to lose 50 pounds or whatever. Like
Yeah,
even just with that, it's you're gonna lose gas if you are. You're gonna run out of gas on that.
Yeah.
But if, hey, I want to lose 2, 3 pounds in this amount of weeks, and I'm going to work toward that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing is, and I think it goes with right what we're talking about. We bite off more than we can chew
Mm-hmm.
because we're idealistic about getting to there, and we minimize the difficulty of getting there.
Right.
I think that's one. The other thing is, and here I find this with Bible plans, and this is my advice to people in Bible plans. If you're going to read your Bible in a year, most of us are going to struggle with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Dude, go, Brad.
Because I think why most people quit is they start, maybe they get through January good and they're rolling, and that's about right, especially if you're going to be going through like Genesis and Exodus and all that.
Yep.
And you
And
get into
numbers and
February
yeah, yeah,
and you're like,
yeah.
oh my God, Leviticus and Numbers,
Yep.
and
I'm
you know
still
what,
reading rules. Why am I
we're
still reading rules?
losing a little drive,
Yeah, right.
and life happens. The kids got sick. I missed 3 days.
Right?
I got 14 days of Leviticus now to try to chew on. My advice to people is if you're doing a Bible plan in a year and it takes you 3 years to do it, you've still read through the Bible.
You still read Brad. Yes, you still read through the Bible.
Yeah. And
That's exactly right.
So
Yep.
when you fall, pick it up where you left off and go from there.
And
And
see, to
don't
me,
try to do 56 days
right. Yeah.
so that you
Yeah.
can
I mean, come
complete
on.
it in a year. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
that's almost a waste anyway. If you're trying to catch up on too much material, your brain's not going to process that.
Right.
You're just checking the box to say you did it. And really, there's no gold star. I know sometimes in the church we feel like they are, that there's no gold star for reading your
Right.
Bible through in a year.
Yeah.
You don't get a special jewel in your crown. That it's
Yeah.
a nice thing to say.
I mean, I could be wrong here. I really could. But I'm pretty sure I'm not, in the sense that I don't think that St. Peter meeting you at the pearly gates is going to shake your hand more wildly because you actually read the Bible in a year. You know what I mean? And I'm not.
I'm going to go out on a limb and go. I'm going to go out on a bigger limb and say that
Okay.
Peter would have really struggled to do that.
Yeah. You go on
Peter,
that limb,
how's
man.
your reading
I'm
through
out
the
there with you.
Bible in
Yeah.
a year going? I'm only 37 days behind. Peter, it's January 12th.
Yeah, right.
I'm just planning.
I'm just planning. Yeah. So to me, Brad, that explains, I think, and demonstrates what that Ecclesiastes 5:3 means. That is the much work. If you and again, this is another thing that I don't like about New Year's resolutions is the commercial appeal of New Year's resolutions. We have to make them because everybody does. I'm not like I don't really disagree with that aspect. I think it's a cool idea. I really do. But what I don't like about it is I'm going to make, as you mentioned, I'm going to make one goal. I'm going to make 5 goals. These are all the things that I would love to happen. Well, congratulations. I think it's awesome. What do you plan on doing about it?
And,
Well,
and
I
focus on one at a time. Like you
yes,
were saying,
yeah,
Les,
right.
focus on the one at a time. You want to lose weight. That's a big goal. So what does that entail? Is that exercise? Is that eating better? Is that doing all these things? And you're going to not do those perfectly. That's my other thing is we as humans think, all right, I'm going to do this. I've resolved to do this. And now it's going to work. La, la, la. It's not. It won't. There's going to be bumps in the road. Look at all the people that have overcome. And like when you read the stories, you see not just the Instagram of it all. Right? You scroll through Instagram and you see this guy who lost 150 pounds. You don't see his story.
Right.
You don't see all the times he fell down. You don't see all the times he struggled. You don't see all the times that I gained 10 pounds in March.
So I remember there was this was years and years ago, but they had during the Summer Olympics, they had like narration testimonials from Olympians. And one of the Olympians said, I haven't had dessert in 4 years. And like to me, that was just staggering.
Mhm.
But they didn't say, I don't like dessert.
Right.
And like for them to say, I haven't had dessert in 4 years, that to us is like this astronomically unachievable goal. But what I think like I don't know if it's our brains, I don't know if it's our culture, if it's just human behavior, whatever. What we'll do is we'll get so caught up in that particular achievement that we just in that little example, we get so caught up in it, it's like I can't do that. Well, if I can't do that, then whatever I can do is not worth it because I can't do that. And again, that's to your point of New Year's
Yeah.
resolutions. The reason I think one of the main reasons that they fail
Mhm.
is because when people make New Year's resolutions and they fail, our culture, whether it's formally or informally, tells us, well, I guess you broke it. Not going to happen
Mhm.
now. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So here
Like New
is,
Year's resolutions is not perfection.
yeah. So let's go back to the Bible. All right. Just a little simple thing the Bible says: be as little children. Be
Mm-hmm.
as little children. You've got some little ones, DJ. So this is more relevant to you in time frame, right?
Yeah.
When your kids were learning to walk, the day that they just set up, got on their feet, and started running across the room, right?
No.
No, no,
No.
because that's typically not how you learn to walk. How do
Right.
you learn to walk as a kid? You take a few steps and you fall down. You
Yeah.
take a few steps and you fall down.
Yeah.
Or for me, one of the things that helped me, I would walk like with the table. And my mom said, well, you kind of went straight from like crawling to running. I had a little bit better motivation though. I was crawling around the table, because standing around the table, walking around the table, and one of my aunts came in the door real quick and scared me. My adrenaline pumped in and I just ran for the first
That's
time.
awesome.
So,
Yeah.
so sometimes you need that little extra motivation.
Yeah.
But my point is, we don't look at our kid and go, God, I can't believe you can't walk.
Can't do it.
Like, like,
Yeah.
why do you keep falling? Why do you
Yeah.
keep No, we celebrate the victories, right? Because I mean, how
Yep.
many videos have I seen? Videos I've made of, and we share with everybody, don't we? When the little guy or the little gal
Yep.
takes 10 steps from mom to dad across the room,
Or
huge.
um, when Hannah took her first fish off the hook. I remember that video that
Yeah.
you sent. Oh my gosh, man, I was so proud for her. Yeah. So to this point, Brad, there's a statistic that I don't know how many people know, but in the world of music, um, and I don't remember what research article this came out in. And for listeners, don't worry, I'm not gonna bore you with research statistics, but I'm gonna give you this one statistic that a like to really master an instrument, and by master meaning like you're one of the best in the world, it takes a minimum of 10,000 hours.
Yep.
Now, New Year's resolutions, this is why I said that I'm not a big fan of them, because I don't necessarily think they promote longevity. I
Right.
think they
I'm gonna
promote
learn to play guitar.
I'm going to learn to play guitar. Dude, I mean I'm so much in your corner as long as you are willing to undertake like
Yeah.
the task of learning a musical instrument.
And this is
I
and
play one,
this
and trust me, this it's not an easy thing.
and this is my story because it wasn't a New Year's resolution, but it was
Mhm.
an ADHD resolution. And
Okay.
sometimes they're worse. I'm going to learn to play guitar. That'd be cool. Like it. I've always admired it. I'm going to learn to play guitar. So I don't know if you remember. I talked to you. I got a good guitar. I did all this stuff. I
I forgot about
started,
that. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
started practicing. And you know what I learned? It was real hard.
Yep.
And in my mind, I'm going to pick this up quick because
Yeah.
I pick math up quick. I can do all this quick. Nope.
Yeah.
You know what else? It hurt because nobody told me that your fingers have to develop calluses when you play
Oh
guitar.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so your fingers, if you play, you can literally play till you. When people say they played till their fingers bled when they
Yep.
were learning to play
Yeah.
guitar,
Oh,
it's
dude, there's so
because
many stories of that.
holding in those strings that are, especially if they're metal strings, it hurts.
I had a friend
So
in college,
somebody
Brad,
told me this.
who could take. I watched him do this. He took a pin and he actually stuck it into the tip of his index finger an eighth of an inch. Didn't feel a thing.
It's calloused. It's
It was
numb.
all
Yeah.
calloused.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I love the idea of New Year's resolutions as long as they are goals, A, that are attainable. And to me, to be quite honest, even deeper than that, goals that you're desperate for.
Do you want, right? Oh, yeah, definitely.
And,
Like,
and
like
like,
again,
and
I lost 50 pounds. You know how I lost, because I had to get to a point where one, I was motivated enough. I had
yeah,
lost weight and gained it and lost weight and gained it.
yeah,
And again, for me and some people still, this is crazy to them. And I understand because I would have said it's crazy to me. I don't do processed sugar because I can't.
yeah,
Because when I do, I'm an alcoholic with that sugar
yeah,
and I crave
yeah.
it and it gets a hold of me. Fruit doesn't do that. Natural fruit juices. I have to look on fruit juices though, and all this stuff. And if it's a
Mm,
sugar added,
yeah.
that's a no-no. I don't know. I don't know, I mean, it doesn't matter what the difference is, but it is. And I had, so when you said, hey, the guy said he hadn't had dessert in 4 years. Well, it's probably been 2 years now since I've had dessert. That's
Yeah.
not true because there was a couple times when I failed, but like,
Yep.
or was at somebody's house. But like, have I had sweet things? Sure, fruit ice cream, like which I
But
make
the
is
but the idea here is not that you're trying to elevate yourself
sure,
above others. Now, I'm not saying that's what New Year's resolutions do by any means,
yeah,
but the idea of just try harder
yeah,
really to me is what are you trying for and why are you trying?
yeah, right,
Why is it so let me just give my own personal example right now. Why is my goal, my one New Year's resolution, my one goal for this year to to get rest, right? To this
mhm,
idea of the 1 minute pause journal. Like, why is that my goal? Because every single semester, it never fails. Every single semester, I will get tired and exhausted, and I will feel far from God. I will feel like I am, like I'm suffering. And when I say suffering, I'm not talking about like necessarily pain suffering, but
mhm,
I feel like I can't. And the best way in terms of like a metaphor, I'm a dog who can't catch his own tail. I'm just I'm circling and I'm circling and I'm circling and doing all of that semester after semester after
mhm,
semester completely runs me down. And as we were talking about last week, with our rest episode, that
mhm,
I just don't feel like I don't feel like I can give my family
mhm,
or my work or my church. I don't feel like I can give them like who DJ is, but really the origin of that is I'm not resting
mhm,
like spiritually. I'm not resting when I'm in prayer, when I'm attempting to go to the Lord. I'm just kind of doing it.
mhm,
And for me, I'm desperate enough. I trust me, I'm there.
mhm,
And so like for me, this idea of Ecclesiastes 5:3, for dreams result from much work and a fool's voice for many words. A dream, in my personal opinion, in this context, is not what's what's a convenience, not
mhm.
that kind of a dream. Like it would be,
Yeah.
what would be fun, but I need it. What's a necessity type thing.
Yeah. Well, and right. And let's talk about this too, because I think it's important. Is it something you prayed about?
Hmm.
There's some things that obviously, are goals that would be good. Um, is it something that you've prayed about and you feel God directing toward? Or maybe it is something because some goals are, I'm going to stop looking at porn. I'm going to stop doing this or that, things that you already know that you shouldn't be doing,
That's true. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm going to stop. And again, super encourage you to still be praying about God's help and be doing that, but also acknowledge that falling down is not failing. So I think for me, more so than just try harder, one of the things that's helped me in my life is don't quit.
Hmm.
My dad printed out a poem. You can find it. It's called "Don't Quit." You can Google it. And he printed it out back in the days before like Google. Somebody had given him a copy. He made a
Mm,
copy at church.
right.
Printed it
Yeah.
out, framed it, set on a bookshelf in our living room where I went by all the time. I read that poem so many times, and it was just a reminder to me: don't quit. So I think I agree with you. You've got to be to the point where you're ready to start or stop whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then with that resolve, which again is what resolution is, that resolve that
That's the resolve. Yeah. Good
that
for
I'm
you.
not
Yeah.
going
That's
to
a great
quit.
point.
If I stumble, I'm not going to quit. And you're right, DJ, because I knew for a long time that my weight wasn't healthy. I was almost 300 pounds, and I am 5'11". That's a little short for 300 pounds.
Right.
I knew that what I was working on in my life with that was was bad stuff that was coming in the future.
Hmm.
You know, and all of these health things that come with that lifestyle that I was living. And I would love to tell you that that's what changed. Was I realized, oh, my health, my health, my health. But it really wasn't enough because you know what? I liked chocolate chip cookies more than I liked the idea of being skinny and
Yep.
healthy.
That's right.
I liked peanut butter pie more than I liked the idea of all of these things,
Yeah.
especially because it was instant, right? When I eat the peanut butter pie, I've got instant gratification
And Cher's
versus
peanut butter
the
pie is pretty
yeah,
banging,
but
right?
it is
Yeah.
it's amazing, and I let everybody else enjoy it, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that they get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Um, and that's okay. But it
Yeah.
wasn't
So
that. Like I don't know if you remember what the turning point for me was.
I don't
Um,
actually.
yeah, it was your sister being diagnosed with lupus. Because not only was I at my heaviest, your sister was also at the heaviest. Because
Hmm.
people, your guys, we're talking to men, right? You're the head of your house. You're the head of your house, and you need to lead by example. This is what I know about my wife. My wife does not have my issue, right? She
Hmm.
can eat sugar once in a while and be fine. She can have those Christmas treats and be fine.
Yeah.
But if I'm constantly eating that stuff and it's constantly around, you know what she's going to do? She's going to do it too. And I knew that my wife, when I started researching lupus, one of the best things for her was a healthier lifestyle, a healthier diet, making sure she got
Yeah.
the nutrients and the vitamins and the stuff that she needed and staying away more from some of these other processed and things. That was more important. And I acknowledged that she was not going to stay with that. She was not going to stay with that if I didn't. And so I gave up sugar because I love my wife and
Yeah.
her health. See, when it was just
And
my health, it was like, ah, well, we all die someday,
well,
you know.
well, here's the thing, Brad, that and I'm a firm believer of what I'm about to say, that desperation doesn't is not limited to one definition.
Mm.
What you just said was that your desperation to do that actually had nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's okay, right? I mean, the point is that you got there and you saw that the end goal was far more worth the sacrifice than if you were to do nothing about it. Or even either A, it was more
Mm.
worth the sacrifice than doing nothing about it, or B, it was far more worth the sacrifice than just doing a little bit about it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you dedicated yourself to that. Um, and I mean, I bravo, like both of you guys look great.
Yeah. Well,
And when I say both of you
and
guys
we
look
haven't done
look
it perfectly. And that's the thing too,
And
is they're like,
yeah, and that doesn't
well,
matter, right?
we're eating healthier,
Yeah.
not, we haven't done, like, I admire the people that a switch flips and forever they just seemingly can, now I eat only good foods and I do all this. Like, I don't want
I
anybody to
would call
hear
those
that. I mean, you
I
still
would put
look at
those
me.
people in a minority.
They are. I mean, I still got weight that I should lose, but I've got to the point where it's like, okay, there is only a certain amount of this that was food weight.
Yeah.
The rest is
Yeah,
I gotta have to move more.
and getting back to getting from this particular perspective, getting back to the topic of just try harder, does that mean like from that bent, kind of like taking the connotation that just try harder, there's something about it that we're not necessarily buying into.
Mm,
Just try harder doesn't really correct the issue. As you mentioned,
mm,
just try harder versus just try smarter, just try harder, or not try harder, but keep the pace that you're keeping.
mm,
Um, and know absolutely that when you fail, your job is to not try harder.
mm,
And here's the last thing that I'll say, because I've got a meeting here in just a few minutes, but the last thing I'll say is that if you stumble and then you say, you know what, I just need to try harder, automatically. And for those of you who are sold to this, you're going to be okay with it. For those of you who are not, I just ask that for a small second that you open your mind perhaps to this particular thought, that if you just try harder, you are trying to take your own progress into your own hands, meaning that you're leaving God out of it.
mm,
And you're trying to solely manipulate your goal achievement. And in actuality, I think that God, when we include him in our struggles, whatever they may
mm,
be, and however serious or minute that they are.
mm,
Because understand, that's another thing I love about New Year's resolutions, is that you can make a New Year's resolution by saying, you know what, I'm going to go to I think I'm going to shave more often. I don't care what it is. Like, if a New Year's resolution doesn't mean it has to be huge,
all in my
but
head.
nonetheless, um, our ability to get closer to the Lord a lot of times is
Mm-hmm.
when he actually reveals to us things that are holding us back that we didn't even know were there.
Mm. Well, and absolutely. And one of the things too, I think is false. Is God doesn't tell us to be stronger, right? He tells us to be strong in his might,
In him.
in his power, in abide in him, and you'll bear much fruit. So
Yep.
sometimes and again, I'm just as guilty as the next. Sometimes we go out on our own power and go, I got to do this and I got to produce fruit and all this stuff. When the biggest thing that God tells us to do is to trust him, to have faith in him, to seek him, and that he will provide.
Yeah.
And he will provide. And if we abide in him, we do what he's telling us to do, right?
Yeah.
And he wants us to come to him, I think, and say, hey, I'm struggling. I'm failing, or I have failed.
I
That's the
have
beautiful thing
failed.
too. 1 John 1:9. If you sin, he is faithful, confessing your sins, and he's faithful and just to forgive us and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. He will wipe your whiteboard clean.
Yep.
Get back out there.
Yeah.
Let's work on doing it better. Don't
Now,
do
and
this,
here
do the same thing over and over and expect different
right.
results.
Yeah. But here's where the balance comes.
Hmm.
Like, listeners, hope you've been able to figure out that, like, we're not talking about don't actually try harder. I think you and I would both agree that
Yeah.
anybody who tries harder is doing a noble thing. However,
Yeah.
we also need to make sure that God is involved in our trying harder, because he
Hmm.
will direct how we try, and he will direct, if we allow him, if he will direct the definition of what harder looks like.
Hmm.
And so that to me is where Ecclesiastes 5:3 comes back into the frame of, for dreams result from much work. Because while we are seeking the Lord, we still have to be
Yeah.
working towards that goal. And while we are still working towards that goal, we have to be seeking the Lord. Like, it works both ways.
Yeah. And
So
and and so and here's the thing is, like, definitely have have prayed much for God to help me. And recognizing too that as a pastor who was almost 300 pounds and sitting there, speaking to the congregation and all that, that certainly wasn't glorifying to God. And so I think one of the ways that God answered my prayer was through Tabby's lupus. Am I saying that he gave my wife lupus to change that? No, probably not.
Yeah.
But I needed that oomph to be able to change. And so God used that situation, and he'll use those things.
Yeah.
So, but what we want people to hear is again, don't in the church, in your relationship with God, right? Sometimes people go, just try harder, just pray harder. Like it's not bad advice to keep praying. But God doesn't say that we're not praying hard enough and that's why we're not working. Prayer is not about you saying the right words and getting the right combination so that God gives you what. And go through, be prepared for the battle, because there'll be a battle. The first 3 weeks of giving up sugar for me was horrendous.
Yeah.
And probably week 3 was probably the worst because my body was going through a serious detox.
Ridding itself
of
it. Sure.
I walked into McDonald's now. I walked into Walmart and I never realized how many Hostess end caps and side panels there were in Walmart.
Yeah.
Because they were everywhere. And I loved fudge rounds and all that stuff. So,
right.
Try smarter, play while you're at it, have fun, pray, seek God's wisdom and his will and his help. And you know what? Seek the help of others. And hey, if there's something that we can pray for you about, we can encourage you.
Yeah, let us know. Absolutely.
Let us know. Share that. Hey, if you've been successful and you've lost some weight, you haven't smoked a cigarette so far this year, hey, good job. We want to encourage you. But if you slip up on the 17th and smoke one, then on the rest of the 17th and the 18th, don't, and get back on there. And go back through. So we love you. DJ's gonna go meet with somebody.
Yep. Listeners, as always, we love that you love our show. You can connect with us on Instagram. Brad, I will be utilizing Instagram more about announcements for shows and episodes that are dropping. So listeners, if you guys are frequenters of Instagram, you'll see more posts there. Rate and review the show. Contact us, menchurchstuff@gmail.com. You know how to get in touch with us. But listeners, we really do love that you love our show. Thank you for tuning in. Brad, love you, man.
All right, love you too.
Listeners, we'll catch you next time.
Yeah.